if you're not in school and you're not working and you feel that you would benefit from the opportunity of participating in the HOPE program when it is fully rolled out, then I encourage you to contact HEART, NTA, or the NYS to become a part of the National Service Corps.
If you are between the ages of 18 and 24, we implore you to consider the Prime Minister's suggestion. After all, it's through our work that we will make Jamaica the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business. Your favorite magazine program starts right now with a word of advice, followed by the news.
Nominations are now open for the 2017 Prime Minister's Youth Awards for Excellence. Persons 15 to 29 years old may apply and be recognized for their work in 11 exciting categories. There's also a Jamaica 55 commemorative category for youth engaged in community-based volunteerism. Access nomination forms by visiting moey.gov.jm, youthjamaica.com, or any youth information center across the island. Nominations close August 31.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your GIS News for Monday, August 21. The Ministry of Education is reporting improved pass rates for 18 of 34 subjects in this year's Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate (CSEC) examinations. Portfolio Minister Senator Ruel Reid gave the results at a press briefing on Friday. He says the highest overall increase was in economics, which recorded an improvement of 12.6%. Other areas of improvements were in math, AdMath, agricultural science, technical drawing, theatre arts, food and nutrition, physical education and sport, among others. Of these subjects, the Education Minister says 5 had average pass rates of over 90%.
These include agricultural sciences double award, 96.8%, agricultural science single award, 91.3%, principles of business that we've been doing quite well in as a country. Hope we can translate that in actual business on the ground. 91.4%. Physical education, wow, that's very good. We're good at sports as well. 96.2%. And food and nutrition, 92%. So these are very positive achievements.
At the same time, however, English B, English Language and Biology showed declined results compared with the previous year. Overall, the Education Minister says that of the 33,799 students from public schools who wrote the examinations, 22,566 attained grades 1 to 3 passes. Prime Minister Andrew Holness is reassuring the business community that government will continue to create a stable fiscal policy environment which supports investments. Asserting that interest rates are low and there is increased business and consumer confidence, Mr. Holness says Jamaica is ripe for investment.
We now have what I like to think of as a bipartisan policy consensus on economic policy, particularly on fiscal policy. And that's very important for investors. We are developing a policy for growth, for economic growth. And that involves, of course, how do we make government more efficient to serve you? And I believe that this government will, in short order, transform the public sector so that it is more efficient in its service to the private sector.
Prime Minister Holness was speaking Friday as he broke ground for the construction of the Caribbean Broiler Group's state-of-the-art poultry processing plant. The plant is part of a $15 billion investment, which will be spread over 7 years to consolidate the CB Group's operations at one location at Hillrun in St. Catherine. The National Housing Trust, NHT, has added Educom Cooperative Credit Union to the institutions through which contributors may access loans under its Housing Microfinance Loan Program. The agreement was finalized with a signing ceremony at the Trust recently. It comes weeks after the NHT signed an agreement with CNWJ Credit Union under the same program. It assists contributors earning $30,000 weekly or less to access credit of up to $1.5 million to help meet their housing needs. Under the partnership, NHT will make funds available through credit unions for on-lending to current and new contributors. Contributors will be able to borrow a maximum of $850,000 at any one point, up to $1.5 million, to repair or improve their existing homes or assist in building their own homes. The loans will be offered with a tenure of up to 5 years at interest rates of 6% for secured loans and 9% for unsecured loans. Government has begun wage and benefits negotiations with teachers for the 2017-2019 contract period. Finance and Public Service State Minister Rudyard Spencer met on Friday with the Jamaica Teachers Association, the negotiating body for the island's 20,000 registered teachers. While highlighting the importance of teachers as the pillar of socialization and academic training, Minister Spencer is urging teachers to work with the government towards a mutually satisfactory position on the areas to be addressed. He says the goal is to have the discussions wrapped up as soon as possible. Meanwhile, negotiation with the Police Federation is set to begin on August 28. And finally, Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton has asked the Western Regional Health Authority to take appropriate action under the ministry's HR and Industrial Relations guidelines to address breaches regarding construction work on an occupied pediatric ward recently. This is in response to a report of what led to the incident at the Savannah Lamar Hospital. The report, which has been reviewed and accepted by the minister, concludes that there was a breach of the work plan and that there is need for a disciplinary hearing involving supervisory staff. It also calls for a review and recommendation of protocols, including approach to supervision for renovations within the public health system. Dr. Christopher Tufton has insisted that such an incident should never be repeated and that persons must be held accountable. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
If you're watching the JIS, you're always in the know when it comes to government information. Keep watching, keep informed, and tell your friends. JIS, your #1 source for government info.
Up next, the latest stories coming out of the office of the Prime Minister.
Ground breaks for $15 billion investment. Country updated on Kingston Freeport Terminal Limited operations. And the Prime Minister remembers Dr. Winston Green. You're watching Jamaica House Weekly. I'm Carrie Ann Smith.
The time is now to invest. The time is now to put your money in Jamaica.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness's rallying call to the business community. Mr. Holness says Jamaica is ripe for investments as interest rates are low and consumer confidence is high. He says government will continue to create an environment for businesses to manage investment risk. This, he says, will be done through stable fiscal policy that's supportive of economic growth and job creation. Prime Minister Holness also asserts that creating greater efficiencies in the public sector will augur well for businesses.
I believe that this government will, in short order, transform the public sector so that it is more efficient in its service to the private sector, so that its cost to the private sector is reduced and its support of the private sector is improved. And when that is done, you will have now a significant partner in growth and development in the public sector, and that will be a great catalyst for economic growth and job creation in this country.
The Prime Minister was addressing last Friday's groundbreaking ceremony for Caribbean Broiler's state-of-the-art poultry processing plant. The 18 to 24-month project is part of the company's 7-year, $15 billion investment to consolidate its livestock, crop and research businesses in one location at Hill Run, St. Catherine. Earlier in the week, Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Dr. Horace Chang, called on interest groups at the wharves to work together and transform the island into a logistics center.
The port functions smoothly when shippers are coming in with ships on time. They are being unloaded efficiently in a timely manner, and they're getting on the trucks in an efficient and timely manner, and from the trucks to the consignees in the system. And all the parties involved, customs, port handlers, truckers, port authority, shipping associates must work in conjunction to ensure that there is a smooth flow.
Dr. Chang was speaking at a press conference Tuesday where he updated the island on operations at Kingston Freeport Terminal. Operations were halted when haulage contractors withdrew their services, causing a backlog of containers being cleared from the wharves. But with the minister's intervention, operations were normalized and the backlog cleared by midweek. Dr. Chang told reporters Tuesday that measures were implemented to ensure increased efficiency at the ports. Among them, the full rollout of the Navis Terminal Operating System and the Asikuda World, which have reduced turnaround time to 45 minutes. On Thursday, Prime Minister Andrew Holness paid tribute to the life and passion of the island's first national hero, the Right Excellent Marcus Garvey. He was represented by Culture Minister Olivia Grange at a wreath-laying ceremony to celebrate the 130th anniversary of Garvey's birth. Mr. Holness also showed support for the people of Barcelona, Spain, who were victims of a terror attack Thursday. And last week, the Prime Minister extended condolences to the family of parliamentarian Dr. Winston Green, who passed away suddenly on Monday. The 58-year-old was Member of Parliament for South East St. Mary. In a statement, Mr. Holness described Dr. Green as a competent Member of Parliament who sat on the Public Administration and Appropriations and the Internal and External Committees of the House of Representatives. And that's how we close out Jamaica House Weekly. Do join us next time for more of the news coming out of the office of the Prime Minister.
The Ministry of Education, Youth and Information is committed to ensuring that every Jamaican child has the best learning environment to thrive and needs your cooperation to make the education system work successfully. That is why we are ensuring that all Jamaicans have full access to secondary education. Tuition is free of cost to you, but the government can't pay for everything, so do continue with your voluntary contributions. These contributions cover the expenses of co-curricular and sports activities and school development projects. We have also increased our support for PATH students. That's right, PATH students are not expected to make contributions, and they will be provided with 5 days of free lunches. We know that a hungry child cannot learn. The ministry has implemented a literature book rental program, free insurance and IDs for PATH students in high schools. This government cares for you. We believe that every child can learn. Every child must learn.
As summer closes, you might feel the bug to further your learning. Consider these jobs in the fast-growing shipping and logistics sector.
It's a very vibrant market right now.
Career Talk has emphasized this reality before, but it bears repeating. The maritime industry offers up a wealth of opportunities for employment options.
I chose it because I really like it. I tried other schools before, and to be very honest, they weren't as exciting. The thrill wasn't there. So I ended up doing this.
Today we zone in on some of the more common onboard ship jobs that are available and what you need to know to get started. If you're just starting out in the maritime industry, this is the bottom rung on the ladder.
It's one of the lowest ranks on board merchant marine vessels, and they deal with mainly deck work. It's from the deck department, and they have no sea time and are in charge of roles such as watchkeeping, keeping a gangway watch, chipping and painting the deck, and basic ship maintenance.
But there is ample opportunity to work your way up.
You can move all the way to captain if you are good enough. And as an OS, you earn anywhere between $800 US per month up to $1,500 US per month, depending on the vessel you're on and what company you're working with.
And FYI, there is no specific training or certification needed for this.
No, just basic training to go on board, like life-saving techniques as they're practicing behind me right now, and similar courses, basic first aid.
The able-bodied seaman, AB, is just a step above ordinary and isn't exactly an indication of your physical condition, although just about every job on board a ship calls for being in good shape.
He does the same thing an OS would do, except he is certified and he would have had more experience and sea time. He gets more pay, of course, so he gets anywhere between 1,500 US to 1,000 to 2,000 US per month.
The junior engineer is at the lowest level of the engineering department but performs critical tasks nonetheless.
When you finish your training at the Maritime Institute or any other institute worldwide, and then you start your navigation, you have no sea time, but you like to become an officer. You have to first work as an apprentice engineer. In this position, you typically earn, well, 1,500 to 3,000, depending on the vessel and the company you're working with.
And then there's the licensed engineer.
His job is ensuring the operation of the entire engine room of the vessel. He is the equivalent of the captain for the engine department. So he runs the engine department of the vessel. The chief officer is the right hand of the captain. So the captain has overall responsibility of the vessel. The chief officer is in charge of the deck department. The chief officer is in charge of the bosun, all the navigational officers, and everyone else that works on the deck. He gives them the daily roster of duties, yes. He's in charge of the navigation of the ship and its safety.
Now, think about a crew of men and women of whatever size working on a ship for months. What would happen if they are not fed often and well? Ship owners know that is not a scenario you want played out, which is why they hire stewards.
That is the chief cook on board the vessel. He's in charge of preparing all the meals. He would have a team at times, depending on the size of the vessel. He would normally have a messman or maybe 2 messmen, depending on the size of that vessel. His earning potential is anywhere between 2,000 US dollars to 4,000 US dollars.
Remember, whichever maritime job you do seek out, there are some constants.
It comes with a high level of discipline. It comes with commitment.
Parents of children going to school for the first time, this next feature is for you.
The first few years of life are critical to a child's success in later years. That's why there's major emphasis placed on developing their young minds to take their place as the creators of tomorrow's future. As parents, we want only the best for our children, and getting the best education is no different. So we went on a fact-finding mission and unearthed some tips for you to consider when thinking about the first stage of your child's academic life.
So firstly, you should ensure that the institution you have chosen for your children, that institution has registered with the ECC or is preparing for registration with the Early Childhood Commission.
As the lead agency responsible for early childhood development, the ECC regulates schools that provide instructions for children 0 to 8 years. And when an institution is registered with the Early Childhood Commission, parents are assured that the school abides by the rigid requirements set by the Ministry of Education.
The first thing you want to look at is this a school that caters to the holistic development of the child. And in saying that, it means they have a sound academic background, but academics is not enough. You know, we need the physical development, the emotional development, the intellectual development.
Children love to play, so there should be adequate play area. When you look at the curriculum that the student uses, you should see enough time for rest. Yes, rest is important. Play, and also to find out that the teachers are equipped.
We need to have qualified, trained staff for the early childhood child. We need to know that They are warm and caring, they're friendly. Everybody wants to know that the teacher is approachable. You can talk to the teacher about whatever problems you may have. You know, sometimes especially new parents are very anxious.
Early childhood teachers should have attained at least levels 1 and 2 certification in early childhood development from the Heart Trust and at least 5 JSC subjects.
You need to look at the teacher-pupil ratio. That's another consideration. If there are too many children to one teacher, the chances are less of each child making the progress they should. If the child is quick, they might be okay. But your child that needs a little more individual attention could be lost in a big group. So you need to look. I would suggest at least 1 to 20, one teacher to 20 students.
When you go into the school, ensure that the surroundings are clean and everything around you, they are sensitive. So the children will look at things that jump out at them. And also if you feel uncomfortable and your child says that he's uncomfortable at school, something must be wrong. So ensure you take these things into consideration.
Find a school that has an environment that's conducive to learning. There are certain factors. Is it attractive, stimulating? Is it safe? Is there proper material for the children to play with? Is the environment clean? Those are factors that will affect learning. So you need to know that the environment is conducive to learning.
One of the first things I did was visit the school often, taking the child with me and also enroll her in the summer program. So at least 2 days a week she would come to get to know her teacher, to get to know the surrounding.
I have seen where those who have come to summer school, they are able to fit in much better come September, because when they come in September, they see their friend that they met in summer school, so they are able to adjust. The transition is much easier.
When looking for an institution to send your preschooler, it's also important that you know what meals are provided, as proper nutrition ensures they'll function throughout the day.
If lunch is prepared, you can ask to take a look at the kitchen, you visit the school.
We offer proper nutrition here, where the children would be given a hot meal every day.
Most times parents will pay for the meal, but what do they get? You need to know that they're getting a balanced meal each day, and that also they're having it, because you could easily pay for it and the children are not eating it.
Going to school for the first time can be stressful for the child as well as the parents.
Children, they're going to cry regardless of what. But what you'll find sometimes parents themselves crying too, and this makes the child so uncomfortable. So what you have to do as a parent, try and tough it out and encourage a child. What we also encourage, if there's a toy that the child loves, like a blanket, you can give the child a blanket. Or you can give the child a photograph of you.
Children are our future. It's important that we nurture them in every way possible. So once your child's school year begins, you should play your part in continuing the learning process at home.
The ministry's curriculum now is big on parental involvement. So you find that the homework that we give, we know the children can't do it on their own, so parents must assist. So that is big. And we also want that parent to be involved in the school life, not just send the child to school. Come to school, find out what is happening from teacher.
You can't be an absentee parent. Some parents will just, I pay, I send my child to school, and that's it. That is not enough. We find that children most times who make more stride and, are the ones that the parents show that interest.
After the child or the children have been taught here in the days, we are expecting the parents to do a reinforcement with them so that learning continues even at home and they will understand whatever was being taught.
Get involved overall. Check them, when I reach home, check the books, ensure that they get homework and do the homework, and all of these little things. And that will go a long way in ensuring that the child progresses through school.
Come out to the PD. That's where you have your voice, you have your say. This is your investment. You're investing in your child here, so you need to come out, say what it is, make plans for the school, be a part of the school in its entirety.
Our children are our responsibility. Let's give them a bright start.
Jamaica is a gifted, blessed country. Where we are today is nowhere near where we should have been, or where we can be. As your Prime Minister, I want to help you to achieve your full potential. Other countries have transitioned to first world within a generation, meaning that people are alive in those countries today who existed under the times when those countries were considered to be third world. That means that a significant portion of the population didn't have water, proper roads, proper hospitals, high unemployment, suffer from high crime. But they made the transition. And you know how they made the transition? It started with a cultural revolution. It started with a change in how the people thought of themselves. It started with a change in what parents told their children. It started with a change in their outlook on life. That there is no reward without work. There is no success without sacrifice, and that nothing is free. Somebody has to pay for it. And so prosperity starts with a change in mentality, a change in culture. And I want to make a deal with you. Let us start to change the culture, the mentality. You work on that, and I will start to change how the government responds, how the government executes its responsibility. When the government is doing its responsibility and the people are doing their responsibility and we are meeting each other's expectations, that is when now you start to see the growth and prosperity.
Yo, this is We're committed to reducing the impact of disasters occurring in Jamaica. We're ever ready to assist you before, during, and after a disaster. But everybody have a role to play, so make we work together and follow the plan. Whether rich or poor or where you come from, hurricanes affect everyone, so be prepared. Prevention is better than cure. Be prepared. Listen to OPM.
A message from the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management.
And that's where we leave you on another Jamaica magazine. We return tomorrow around about the same time on this station. If you have internet access, then visit our website, jis.gov.jm. Join us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. There's also a mobile app that's available from the Apple and Google Play stores. On behalf of the entire team at the JIS, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Thank you for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.